Welcome to How To with Howco, the podcast that connects you with Howco team members who share their time-tested insights and knowledge, covering all aspects of the car wash industry. Since 1969, Howco has helped thousands of car washers get started and succeed in the industry through Howco's planning, development, and operational services. I'm your podcast host, Bruce Hensley. In this episode, Howco CEO and President Chuck Howard will share an overview of the company and how it helps newcomers and veterans alike succeed in the business of washing cars. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Bruce. Glad to be here.
Well, tell us about Howco and how it helps both newcomers as well as seasoned veterans plan, develop, and operate car washes.
Well, Bruce, that's what we do at Howco and have done for over 5 decades now. And we have experience both in operating car washes and building car washes and supplying car washes. Car wash is all we do. And so we have built a team of experienced professionals, both in operations, in supply management, service, anything you need to run a car wash, including the planning and preparation to build a car wash. And so I think that is our mission. That's our strong suit. And as I said, we have a number of car wash professionals in all phases of the car wash business to help not only existing operators but new operators and new individuals or companies that want to get into the car wash business but don't quite know how.
Well, what are the most important or challenging steps in starting a car wash?
Well, I think the most important step is the planning phase. And I like to use a quote from Abraham Lincoln, who once said if he was given 6 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. So that's the planning part. And if you've got a good foundation, you've got a good plan, you've got good advice, that goes a long way to making the whole project run smoothly once you get into the construction phase.
Well, let's go through the steps. I suppose the first is finding a site acquisition.
Absolutely. If you're new to the industry or new to the car wash and don't have a site, then yes, you need to think about where would you like the car wash to be. And if it's in your hometown, you may already have some ideas about best places to locate a retail car wash. If you're in a town where you're not familiar, then it's best to partner with a real estate professional who knows the market, knows availability, has contacts with people that can lead to sites that would be appropriate for a car wash, because there's all kinds of considerations.
Now, would Howco work with a chosen real estate person to sort of steer them in the right direction?
Absolutely. We would ask that the new owner decide on 2 or 3 or maybe 4 locations that look like they might work, and then we would go and visit those locations and render our professional opinion on which one might be the best, or not. And we may say, well, no, you need to look again. But usually if you've got 3 or 4 sites and you know that they're good retail-type locations, one of them will work out. And from that, we begin to put together the business plan for the site.
And how about if you already have a site in mind?
Well, same thing. We would visit the site and give you our opinion on maybe not only car wash, but what kind of car wash. There's all kinds. There's in-bay automatics. There's self-serves. There's express exteriors. There's flex serve, and so depending on what the site looks like, where it's located, and all the site analysis, we would make a recommendation on what might go there.
So once you have a site in mind, I guess you can sort of back into the formula of what kind of wash you want and what your budget might be.
From the site plan, which we have a pro forma site plan that we would do, and that would recommend the budget for the project. divided into equipment and site work and building, and that might dictate what kind of car wash you're looking to go there.
So there's no blueprint for one size fits all. You've got various sizes and types of car wash, and then even municipality restrictions that may determine which direction you go.
Yeah, there are all those considerations. You may have, if you're a chain operation, you may have a cookie cutter building footprint, but the site for that blueprint to fit on a site, then you have to consider the size and accessibility and all those factors that go into a site. If it's your first venture, and then again you go back to, well, what type of car wash would be appropriate for this site?
And considerations are traffic counts and being on the right side of the street and how fast the traffic is and whether there's a traffic signal. I mean, all of those things come into play, right?
Absolutely. And, of course, population demographics as far as the type of folks who live in the area, their income levels. You mentioned traffic. That's very important. And so access, certainly, visibility, all those things go into the site analysis.
And parking spaces and signage and type. So Howco can help with all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have in-house draftsmen and engineers who can help with the site layout and even work with the architects and other engineers to design the building.
So what's the next step? I'm estimating the cost of the project. How do you address that?
Yeah, well, let's say you're looking at a conveyor type car wash, whether it's express or flex serve. You would do your site analysis and apply some numbers to your pricing to develop a pro forma income statement. And kind of a rule of thumb that I like to use is the budget for building equipment and site work should be equal to about 15 months projected revenue. And now that's not an absolute. It can be a little more, it can be a little less, but that's a place to start.
So if a remodel is planned, how do you decide whether you bring everything up to code? And does Howco act as a general contractor, or do they work with the GC that the operator has chosen?
Good question. No, Howco is not a general contractor. However, we work with lots of contractors throughout our territory. And if our customer investor does not already have someone in mind, we can certainly make recommendations based on our experience with these contractors.
Now, does Howco go as far as planning departments and public hearings and that sort of thing? Do you do hand-holding through that process?
Yes, if there is a need for a zoning or some sort of special use permit, which in most cases nowadays there is, we would go along and add our knowledge to how the project's going to work, answer questions, but we would also want a local advisor. Either it could be an attorney, it could be an engineer, but usually in most jurisdictions there's someone who is what you might call the go-to person to lead the project for a rezoning, for example, or an SUP.
How about the bidding process as far as subcontractors? Does Howco get involved in that aspect of it?
Well, normally, if it's a new build, normally you would have a general contractor and probably put it out for bids, maybe get 3 for comparison, and then the general contractor who wins the bid would get the subcontractors. They would all be under his license.
But Howco can be in the building design phase, the equipment choice, the chemical choice, where the bathrooms go, where the lobby goes, how the parking is situated, the ingress and egress of the actual site. You're involved in all that?
Well, as far as if there's interior space like offices and restrooms, and not so much. That's architect work, but the equipment space, the tunnel, the equipment room, Yes, Howco is very involved in that, and site work. If you need space for free vacuums, for example, if it's an express wash, or finishing area if it's a flex serve. So Howco, yes, is very involved. And as I said, we have engineers who will work with the civil engineer for site work and with the architects for the building to make sure that everything fits together as it should.
And Howco represents different types of equipment manufacturers. So whether it's a tunnel, an in-bay automatic, or an express, or a full service, and different types of vacuums as well, and different types of chemical options.
We have lines of most of the major equipment manufacturers, and yes, we have experience with self-serve, in-bay automatics, flex-serve, express models, even large vehicle wash. We do some work with fleets, car rental, and bottling companies, and even built a school bus wash one time. So we do everything except trains and planes.
Wow. This is How To with Howco podcast, and we look forward to you joining us for subsequent episodes that help car washers plan, develop, and operate their business. For more information or to contact a Howco representative, please visit howco.com. I'm your host, Bruce Hensley, and we'll see you again soon for another episode of How To with Howco.